welcome everyone and thank everyone. First of all, starting off for taking time out on Friday. I know for those of you guys who have been away at school, it might be your first Friday back home. There's definitely a lot of other things you could be doing right now. For those of you who are here, you could be doing demos, you could be, out doing things. And I really wanted to gather everybody today and tomorrow with just a packed agenda of things to really get us ready for this new year. With the division, with things breaking late, I didn't have an opportunity to kick off the campaign how we could have and had all the different trainings, things in line. It's really all coming together right now, but we're in a great place and want to make sure that we're really poised for a big year. So right now, as we go into these, couple of weeks and during Christmas break, this is a time, by the way, where a lot shifts around. This is a time where the champions come out to play and people step up, and then some people will step out, and that's really unfortunate. And we see that happen when people aren't really taken care of the right way. Our goal is to really be able to support our group the right way to make sure you guys are getting the most out of your time. You have an unbelievable opportunity in front of you to go out and go out and run your own business, or go out run it again. Those of you who are going for the second time around, we have our guys going out to run district offices. Some of these guys second time around and going out and making a splash. And I was talking to the DM team earlier, and it's really exciting to see where we're at right now and really where we're going. And even though everything might not be perfect, there's a lot of things you can focus on what's not going well. But what is going well is we've got a great foundation, a great crew to build with. People who are excited about growth, people who are excited about where the organization's going. We did our projections earlier without any of the new office, of the branch offices involved in the numbers. And we have a chance to go after the Silver Cup next year and compete heavily with the #1 division. We're going to finish this year as the #2 division in vector marketing, which is really exciting, with no leadership, with no DVM, with Lloyd doing the best job he could, and he did a dang good job. We are, you guys killed it. So obviously there's restructuring that happened. Obviously there are players that have been lost that played big roles this year, like a David Roy, and other people that played big roles for 2014 that are no longer playing a role for GCK in that way. But regardless, through that process, we have phenomenal people coming back in the reins. And whose stuff is that? It's a nicer chair. That's all. But we have people like MBR coming back, Wasim coming back, our district manager team up and ready to go. Jacob came over to continue and growing and helping here in GCK. So, and obviously myself coming over here ready to kick some butt over in Houston. But we've got a really good core. And for those of you who are along for the ride, for those of you who are here going to next summer, my goal is that you have one of the most amazing summers of your life, something you can always look back on as one of the really the steering points where your life all of a sudden went somewhere totally different because of what happened this year, because of what you learned, the lessons that you gained, the obstacles you had to overcome that strengthened you as a person. And one of the things that we can't forget is that with growth, comes challenges that have to be, like, that's part of stretching our capacity, increasing our capacity. And I feel like people always think like, oh, if it was easy, or this is too hard. Well, if it was easy, everyone would do it, first of all. No one would accomplish the big things. The people that go out and do big things are people that have the discipline to really understand what it takes right now to do those things. People that can think long term, that have vision, because they're not just thinking about now, they're thinking about what they're building for themselves, for their lives, for their organization, for their kids, for whatever it is, their family, and really have something bigger than themselves that they're going for. And I think about, for you guys, you can think, oh yeah, I'm gonna run a summer, and what does this summer do for you? Like, having the chance to go out and run your own business this summer as an 18, 19, 20, 21, 25, 30-year-old, running your own business and going out and succeeding at whatever. There are lessons to be learned in everything, and that's part of the process. And regardless of whatever experiences you've had before, whatever results, bless you, whatever results that you've had, you have an opportunity to go out and really go out and make something huge happen. And that's really exciting to think about what's possible for yourself. I think about the people who have ran branches and now are running all different businesses, you know, people who are district managers, impacting, influencing, and building a life for their families. And however this serves you, whether it's the lessons in the short term that you can apply to your future firm, whether you're an engineer, a doctor, a teacher, you're working in health, anything that you're doing, we have such a great foundation of really being able to learn the interaction with people, your interpersonal skills, really learning how to work with a lot of different types of personalities, having an opportunity to learn how to be a great leader. You want people to listen to your theories, listen to your ideas, well, be able to captivate people and having people want to listen to you, being able to connect with people in such a fashion, you know, the basic entrepreneurial skills that you guys can then apply to your prospective businesses, whatever that is. And just how to start it up. You know, so many people have ideas for things they want to do or things that they're passionate about, and they don't really know how to go about it, you know, how to get it going. And you guys really getting that foundation at a very young age is really exciting. And regardless of where you're at, there's people in their 40s, 50s trying to figure that out now. And you guys getting that first run or second run, you know, or shots at it being younger is really exciting, because you have an opportunity to be so much more successful with anything that you do at any given point of your life. And that's something that I'm super passionate about, really being able to assist in and being able to provide to you guys, is the opportunity to go out and challenge yourselves and grow on a level that many of your friends are not going to have until they're in their 30s, 40s, if ever, because they won't put themselves in places where they're out of their comfort zone. So many human beings live their life in their comfort zone. And it's so sad to see that. And they never do. And they get older. And I was talking to a friend this past week, and I said, you know, he was asking me, he's like, why are you so passionate about working with youth? And a lot of different things, and from businesses that I have and will start additional businesses and things that I want my family to do and I want to fund. A lot of it is all focused on, you know, 15 to 25-year-olds. And he's like, why are you so passionate about working with this age group? He's like, I just want to like punch them all. And I just like started laughing. He's like, it takes a lot of patience to work with this age group. I'm like, no, it does. I said, but I feel that's one of the places where we're able to have the biggest impact, period. Because it's a time of your life where you're really trying to figure out who you are, right? Outside of your parents, outside of the rules, outside of whatever. You've had some life experiences already by that time, and you're really figuring out, you're taking in all those things that are happening through whatever filter you currently have. And we have a chance to change that perspective, change that filter, and really go out and create something beautiful. Where so many people, they just look at it through those lenses, and 30 years later, they're just so depressed and everything. They never figured it out. And if you guys can figure it out now, how much more of a fulfilled life will you live? How much happier will you be? How much more will you accomplish? Because you were able to figure out stuff that people are figuring out in their late 40s, 50s, and 60s. You got to figure it out in your 20s. And that's really exciting, you know? And I told him, I said, I know that this is a time where we're so moldable, and you're trying to figure out everything out. And so when you learn how to take control of your mind, of your emotions, and really being able to be strong in your belief systems, how long of a way that goes. I told him, I said, I meet people who are in their 50s, and I feel like I'm talking to a child, and it blows my mind when I'm talking to them. And I'm like, this person is still like, I'm looking at friends of mine that I'm thinking, I feel like they're still in high school, and they're still like a child. They just got older. And I watch them parent, and I'm like, how is this person a parent? Because they're blanket, and kids look up to their parents because it's their parents, right? Like, that's your parents, so you look up to them, but they're still kids. They have not matured. They have not learned. All right, they're still blaming all the outside, everything else that's happened. They're blaming externally for things that they never took reins on and they never did for themselves. And it's really sad to see that. And so that's why I'm just so passionate about working with younger people, because I told my buddy, I'm like, we have a chance. I said, as corny as you want to look at it, like, I know that I have a stronger chance of impacting the world through working with them now. Because then when they go into their field, whatever they do, they're able to be so much stronger and shine such a light for everyone around them and be such a person of influence and be an inspiration to people in their fields, wherever they are, because of their time here, because of the lessons they learned here, because of the maturity they had while they were here. I'll talk about tomorrow with everybody. I mean, we have a push period, right, coming up in a week here, a week and a half. We kick off the Year in Banquet push. And these pushes are a time of really the whole objective is to really get yourself out of your comfort zone and really see what you're capable of. And it isn't, again, until you challenge yourself in life with things like that. I mean, think about any muscles growing, right? If you do the same weight over and over, your muscles don't grow. You have to do something that's heavier, something you don't, and that's where you grow. So what is it that you're doing that's harder than normal? And guys, doing this is harder than normal, and I get that. The discipline it takes, the organization that you have to do this job, the self-motivation, the communication, because you've got to be able to communicate effectively with the people above you. It takes a lot to be successful in this business. And I guess I just share that because I don't take it lightly, because I know what it takes. And it can be a lot easier to just say, you know what, I'm just going to party all break and do nothing. And like next summer, I'll just be out on the boat and just get trashed all summer. And you could do that. And you could have a fun time short term. But what you're doing for yourself long term is insane. I had a chance to see one of my guys is going to school playing baseball in Tuscaloosa. And so he got home from Alabama during the Thanksgiving break, and we were out to eat, and we were just talking about just this next, he's like, I don't know. I mean, maybe this next time I'll just be an assistant manager, you know, and I just make some money and then go out. And I just looked at him. I said, you could do that. I said, you could do that. Make some money. You have fun. I said, no problem. And I said, I think it's crazy for you to throw away an opportunity to run your own office this summer. I said that you could say at age 19, you ran your own business. Like, you're 18 years old right now. You're in your freshman year of college. How many human beings on this planet can say they ran their own business, you know, at the age of 18, 19 years old? Like, that's crazy in itself. I said, and I know right now it might feel weird, or you're just like, oh, but my friends are just like doing nothing. These are the same, they're delaying. You're either going to, and you guys have heard, like, pay now and play later, or play now and pay later. And when my brother was going through, he's a City of Miami firefighter now. And I remember when he was living with me on my couch in 08, 09, and he'd have to study, and he was pulling all-nighters to get like all his stuff done for all his different exams and everything that you get to learn all the anatomy. Like, there's just a lot to learn when you're doing anything in medicine, you know? And he's like trying to learn all this stuff. And he'd be so frustrated. And he'd be working all night, and his buddies were like out, you know, getting smashed, doing whatever. And he would, sometimes he'd just be like, screw this crap, forget it. Like, is it even worth it? He's like, I just want to go play. I said, you could do that. I said, you could go play. But those are the same people, because I see them now, and it breaks my heart to see people that I know who are waiting tables for me, who are, you know, doing it, bouncing around, still trying to finish off their college education on like a 10-year plan, or, you know, whatever they're doing, because they never were disciplined in something. And it cost them years, you know, and it's taken them a lot longer to get going. I said, think about any of the most successful people. You can look at it with anything. And let's just take your, you know, traditional, oh, I'm going to be a doctor, be a lawyer, right? So that's a traditional engineer. And you're going to med school, or you're going to law school. Are they playing all the time? Every single friend I have that was in med school or law school, like, they don't have a good time. But like, they're in the books, and they'll be like, dude, I got to study for this. I got to study that. I'm like, I can't go out. Like, they're the ones always kind of bailing out. And they're like, dude, and they're like, look, but you know what? They're the ones that are in their mid-20s already doctors, fully going, or, you know, one of my buddies is finishing his residency right now. He's like 26, where other people are doing this like in their 40s, because that's when they finally decided to, you know, have the discipline to do it. So I share that because you guys have a chance. You discipline yourself now. And I remember my brother was there. When I was talking to my rep who was home from Alabama, and my brother was talking to him, and he said, look, I'm 26 now, but I remember being 18, 19, living on my sister's couch and just being so frustrated, because I just wanted to just go party. And I was like, screw all this. Like, why am I working so hard right now with my studies and doing all this? Like, I should be playing. And it's like, you can, but the people that discipline themselves early on, whether with, you know, collegiate programs, educational programs, or programs like this, or athletes, or whatever it is, that they really discipline themselves in the beginning, end up getting so much more done long term, and they're able to really enjoy life on another level, you know. And you think, I just remember being young and be like, oh, I'm gonna be so old, and be like 30. I'm 32 right now, and I feel like I'm like 23, and I like, I have more energy than most of the people that I work with. And my brother was on me. He's like, I always used to be like, oh, I'm gonna be so old. He's like, I'm 26 now, and he's like, I feel like I'm just getting started. He's like, and he has his career, and and he's like, and buddies of mine are still trying to figure it out. And I'm so glad that I stuck with it. And my sister was, both of them, like my other sister and I were on his butt all the time. Like, I was about to finish her PhD, and she was always on him, and I was always on him. I'm like, just trust us. Like, you could go out and do all this stupid crap now, but you're gonna be kicking yourself in the ass. It's gonna take you so much longer to get the things you want done. while you can right now, while you have this in front of you, just freaking do it. Take advantage, take your shot. If you have an opportunity to do something great, don't let it go to waste, you know? And my brother really did that, and he was able to pursue the things he loves. And now he has things set up where he's able to do other businesses too, because with what he does as a City of Miami firefighter, he works 24 hours on, then he's off 2 days. Then he works another day on, and he works off. So he has a lot of time off to be able to do other things that he's excited and passionate about. And he loves what he's doing. He's like, well, now I want to train for this. He's taking classes because he wants to do, I don't know what, some program where he'll be like a police officer and this and SWAT team and special forces and I don't know what. And he's super excited about. But, you know, can you create, do you let moments pass, or do you take advantage of the opportunities that are put in front of you? One of the best decisions I made at this meeting in 2002, I just come back from London, literally 3 days prior. This meeting was on December 21st in 2002, because my brother's birthday was the next day, and I'd just come home. My family was gonna have a huge party. And I said, hey, look, I said, I really wanna go to this meeting. And I just wanna go check it out. You know, I'll be there on the 22nd. It's that day on the 21st, like all day. It started like 9 a.m. and went all night. My brother was so frustrated. He's like, you just got home. And it was like on the weekend. He's like, I just want to be with you. You just got back from Europe. You've been gone 4 months. And I had gone to lunch with my manager like right when I got back. And he said, hey, I'd love to meet you for lunch and just talk to me about, he talked to me about Branch. And he said, look, we have this. And obviously back then it wasn't as competitive as it is now, 12 years later. But he said, we have this program. We have this amazing opportunity. And he like walked through it with me. And I said, you know, that'd be really cool. Like I'm graduating next year. And I think I want to take advantage of that. I think that'd be a really good thing to do. And I decided, he said, well, just come to this meeting and check it out. And I remember going to that meeting and our division manager at the time quoting the Lose Yourself, like Eminem, One Shot, and going through and quoting the song. And he's like going through, I'm like, what is he doing? But I just remember just listening to like, you have this, you know, one shot, this opportunity, you know, like don't waste that. And it really resonated with me. Every time I hear that song, I always think about so crazy, like where my family's life would be without that. And whether it's through staying with Cutco like I did, or for someone like Alfredo Michael, one of my good friends, who is at the top, I mean, doing everything he wants to do with finance and investing. And he works currently with, he was with Merrill Lynch for a while, and then now he's with another big company that I just forgot the name. But this was his first job ever when he had moved here from Venezuela, and he was a top rep in 2005. He went out and branched in 2006 in Puerto Rico, came back. He was my pilot in 2007. In 2008, he landed an internship with Merrill Lynch, and he was the only person in the state of Florida to land this internship. And it was a very small percent, very competitive program. He did training up in New York to do this internship. And I remember him calling me from New York, and he was like, oh my gosh, I love you, da, da, da. And I was just laughing. It was like late at night. I'm like, yeah, a couple of beverages. He's like, maybe, but like, no. And he said, I was talking to the recruiter, and he said, I was sitting at the bar here, and the recruiter and I were talking. I asked her, why me? Why'd you pick me? And she said, when we saw your resume, and we saw this kid came from out of the country, comes in here, starts with a clientele base of whatever, 12, 15 people, builds a base of several hundred people with his Cutco business, goes into their management leadership program, is an assistant manager with the company, earns a spot in their entrepreneurship program, runs his own business, comes back, runs a pilot office, which by the way, my office in 2007 that he ran was the #1 office in vector marketing that year, #2 overall, #1 district office. And he ran that thing. We did 1.5 million that year. And then when I'm like, how could we not pick you? We're like, we know that you're someone who's disciplined, who's driven, who's goal-oriented, who's an overachiever, you know, someone that with the work you've done, obviously you can work in a team environment, but you can also work independently. And they just like went on, like we saw everything on paper. And we're like, oh my gosh, we have to have this person, you know, and they hadn't even met him yet. And just the power of that. And he was recruited. By the way, in 2008, for those who don't know, market crashed, all right, went into a severe recession. Bank of America bought out Merrill Lynch. There were a lot of changes. A lot of people in the finance world, by the way, lost jobs. There were a lot of jobs. And if you were a finance major graduating in 2008, it was kind of a joke. Like you were not getting a job. People were trying to keep their jobs in that field. And he graduated in 2008, and he had starting over $60,000 working with them in a certain role. Within 2 years, he was earning a 6-figure income. Then he started working in 2010 or 11 with he was doing sports management. His dream was to work with professional athletes and then at some point work with like multi-billionaires in South America, where he's from, you know, or So he started working with NFL, and NBA. There are people that were getting recruited out of high school and into college. And he was working with this group of people doing their investments. And he's like, oh my gosh, I'm like doing exactly what I wanted to do. And by the way, Merrill Lynch doesn't take on people who are just graduated college at age 21. They're headhunters. They go to other financial institutions and take their top people because everyone knows the name. It's a very well-known name in wealth management. And he was able to land that job. He was able to get into exactly what I wanted to do. He was like, I'm living the dream life. You don't even understand. He was then, so one of the guys wanted to break off, offered him a crap ton of money to go with him and work with clients on the side with investments. And he was doing that. And then he was recruited with whoever the heck he's with now, another big name. I think it starts with a J. I can't think of it right now. But he started working with them. And he's doing now wealth and investing for like multi-billionaires. He's in charge of like Argentina, Venezuela, Colombia, and he's just like, I'm doing everything that he's like, I can't believe I'm doing, like, this was my dream. Like everything that I ever wanted to do with this, I'm doing it. You know, and he's like, there's no way that I would have been where I'm at if I hadn't done that weird knife job that my buddy recommended me for. He's like, it's really crazy to think about that, but it's like, if I hadn't done that job, I would have never done this. I would have never gotten that internship. I would like, what the heck would I be doing? Like, he's like, I know I'd be successful somewhere, but it's just crazy to think like how one moment can change your life, like the impact that can have. And I really hope for you guys that you're able to, you know, through this year, through this summer, through your time with Cutco, whether it just be these next 6 months or 8 months, whether it's another year, 2 years, 3 years, however long you're here before you go on into whatever you do. And for those who decide to stick around and join our district team, it's going to be freaking awesome what we built here. But that you're always able to look back on this time and know what a significant role it had in shaping and molding you into the, you know, future bad butt, you know, leader that you become in whatever you do. So I'm really excited to open up this meeting. I asked Caitlin to really share this. I'm excited to, I feel like we've met a bunch of times. Today's like our first day meeting. And I'm like, hey, what's up? Excited to have her here and have her bring the energy. She's been away at school. You know, most of you guys, I guess everyone knows, like Caitlin, one of the top branch performers last year, kicked some butt, developed some great people. She had such a strong organization. I've heard nothing but amazing things about her from all the uppers, from all the managers, from the district managers, from our region manager, about the energy she brings, the passion that she brings, and I'm really excited to have her as a key component in our division this next year. And so I asked her if she'd be willing to share a story and just why she's excited, why she's back, why she's excited about going back out there. Because there definitely was a time where she was like, I think I'm done with Vector. I think I got what I needed or wanted. And she's back and ready to tear some stuff up. So if we can bring her up, give her a round of applause. Yeah. You can stand. Stand. Just gotta catch.
I actually made a PowerPoint.
All right, cool.
I like PowerPoint and stuff. Yeah.
Let's get you PowerPointed out.
Feeling technological, but what?
Do you want to sit or do you want to stand?
Okay. Like, half a second. Wait for it. There it is. Okay. Alrighty. So, you don't have to take notes if you want to. It's cool. But basically, kind of, you know, why I'm excited to run another office this year, and you know, kind of the brick walls that you probably are all facing, and that's awesome. Because guess what? If you have problems, that means you're alive. Because the only people that don't have problems are dead people. So, kind of a little bit about my mindset. The brick walls are there for a reason. The brick walls are not there to keep us out. Brick walls are there to show us how badly we really want something. And I firmly, firmly stand behind that. Just kind of going over my personal story. So a little bit about me. I started when I was 17 in high school. I was a junior, and it's kind of crazy. And I had these big dreams, big aspirations, big goals, and I was working in a daycare. And as my people know, I like kids. I just like the ones that don't talk. Those are my favorites. And so the daycare was definitely not a place for me. And so I got this letter in the mail, and my mom was like, yeah, I think it's a scam. Don't do it. And I was like, no, online. These guys seem awesome. Like, they're selling knives. That's so cool. She's like, no, don't do it. It's a scam. And she wouldn't drive me to the interview. I didn't have a car or a license at the time. And so I had my friend drive me in her 1995 beat up Bug with no air conditioning, and I was freaking out the entire time. And I was like sweating when I got to the interview because it was, June. And got the job, did really well my first 10 days without a car, without any parent support and family support whatsoever. Ended up doing 10K in my first 10 days. Because the brick walls are there for a reason. The brick walls are not there to keep us out, but to show us how badly we really want something. Going on to JAM program the year after that, ended up still doing 10K to go to Cancun. Last day, selling $800 by walking around with my blue book around my high school and saying, hey, can you just buy one knife for me, please? I need to go to Cancun. That's it. Just get me to Cancun, please. And so the teachers were like, pull me into their like costume. Don't tell anyone I'm doing this. And I was like, I won't, Miss Jones. I won't. I swear. Thanks so much. So I had like people calling for me because, again, the brick walls are there to show us how badly we really want something. Then going into that next year, SC2, same thing happened. I got really sick. I was in the hospital, got kicked out of my house. My parents told me I could choose between soccer or vector. And I was like, okay, well, I'm just going to leave now because I don't want to deal with this. And, I was in the hospital, got kicked out, got in a nice car accident. That was fun. Just all these things accumulated. And I still did 15K in SC2. Because the brick walls are there to show us how badly we really want something. So going into preparing it for an office, there were different obstacles. I prepared a lot. I sacrificed a lot. I mean, there were times that I really wanted to go out, that I really wanted to just say, screw this. I want to go sip on some happiness. And happiness is alcohol, by the way, but that's not appropriate to say, I think. So we sip on some happiness, but I did. I stayed in and I watched Vector Connect videos. There was a lot of times that I really just didn't want to go to Leadership Academy. I didn't want to drive an hour and a half to my office. But I did it, and it was worth it. I reached out a lot. I was calling people like Kina Feldstein, Melissa Haletzik, Jordan, Patricia. I was calling all these people, and they probably were really annoyed with me. I know the region was probably really annoyed with me at one time. I called them one time, like 15 times in a day, trying to figure out how to do things. And even though I annoyed people, it was worth it. So I did well. I read a lot. I made sure that I was reading. I had different books on my list. So last year I read 5 levels of leadership. What is the word? Highly efficient managers. I'm trying to think of names right now. Yeah, 7 Habits. 15. See, and you still have my book.
I have it. I haven't read it.
Okay, did you read it?
I'm reading it.
Good. So the one thing, just things like that, because I really do believe that when you read, you're really expanding your mind. And the most successful people read. And so I want to be successful, so I'm going to read. Also, I was just listening to different Vector Connect talks. I was always asking people, what other Vector Connect talks can I listen to? What other things would you suggest? What are you working on right now? Just asking those questions. It's completely worth it. And I even hired life coaches. I had Peter Voog, who was paying money to have him coach me. Was it money? Yes. Was it a lot? Yes. Was it worth it? Hell yes, it was. So going into the fun month of May, because we have to stay positive, right? And May is always where things hit the fan. And I was really humbled. I remember I was like, all right, Lloyd, I'm gonna go out and I'm gonna launch 15 people and it's gonna be awesome. We're gonna make sure that we win this. And I launched one person my first week open. And I was like, crap. And so I had 2 decisions at that point. I could be like, all right, cool. This branching opportunity was awesome, but I suck at it. I'm only going to launch one person. I should just quit now. Or I could be like, all right, cool. I had this one person who's awesome. He's going to kick butt and he's going to take names. I know it. So I did that. And I worked with him and I made sure that he reached, as much potential as I could help him with. And he did 17K in his first 10 days. My first person launched. Do you think I was happy that I didn't just quit then? Would it have been easy? Yes, but like Kathy said earlier, if it's easy, everyone would do it. Okay, so I gave him all my energy. And by doing that, the next couple weeks, the next week I had a 10K fast starter again. The week after that, 2 10K fast starters after that. And then the next week I had 3 10K fast starters in the same training class. Because I gave them everything I had and I didn't quit at that point. I wasn't going to quit on everybody else in the middle of the summer. And just mindset. You have to have a great mindset throughout this entire period, especially jam program. Remember jam program last year? I got in 4 car accidents in one day. I'm a really bad driver if you don't know. And I remember selling $4,000 that day on the same day. What? Like, what can you do in those situations? You can be like, crap, I just crashed my car. This is horrible. Well, I should just go home and cry now. Or it could be like, all right, cool, I just crashed my car. I mean, it's going to be a great day. Numbers are going to work out. Let's do this. Which one do you think is easier? Going home, canceling all my demos, like I'll do it again tomorrow. But I didn't. Mindset here will translate to mindset for this summer. So in the Woodlands, we had a lot of fun. We were the Woodlands Wrecking Balls. Because we're coming in like wrecking balls. And we had so much fun this summer, yes. We tried to put Lloyd Reagan's face on it, but it just didn't work, so. We also did some fun things in the office. We made some good songs.
It's a normal day in the office, but what week is it? Huh.
It's poppin'. It's poppin'. It's poppin'. It's poppin'. Gotta ask them. Because if I don't.
It's poppin'. I don't know. It's poppin'.
What you know about me? What you know about me? What you know about me? What you know? My CPO is poppin'. My CPO is cool. All the reps get acid. They're pulling up my phone. This is great. This is awesome. They were blowing up our phone. Rolio popping because we were worth it. So that was some fun. We had an awesome culture this summer. We went from being the Woodlands Wrecking Balls to being the Wolves of the Woodlands. I did not make that, by the way. One of my reps did. Thank you, Carter. But, because our mindset was like, all right, we're just going to go out and we're going to be phone terrorists, telephone terrorists, telephone terrorists. And our office was like the Wolf on Wall Street, minus the drugs and the midgets and shippers. Anyways. Yeah, that was like one of our themes this summer. So anyway, we just had so much fun. Our office was like about creating the great, finding the greatness within, because everyone has greatness. What separates average people from great people is just their mindset and how hard they're willing to work, And that's what was so great about this summer is that I felt that the people that we recruited, they became better versions of themselves. They became greater versions of themselves. And that was our whole mantra that we stood behind, because we wanted to make sure that this summer wasn't a waste. They were having fun. We could play hard, but we were working hard too. We were making money. We were swinging blades. And we were growing in every aspect of our life. We had some fun relationships that were built.
Oh my God.
So Ashley White, she ended up doing 25K this summer and is now running her own office. just one person that we were able to recruit is now going to take an opportunity to change her life. And to be able to say at 19 years old that you ran your own organization, that you were a CEO and CPO. Always thinking about knives. And that you were somebody who was able to be an actual business owner, to be an entrepreneur, to follow in your parents' footsteps. Like, how great is that? The best. And we have people like Jacob Gordon. Jacob Gordon, he went out and won a scholarship this year. You know, he was somebody who wasn't from the Woodlands. You know, went to Spring High School, which, if you know Spring High School, is kind of a little bit slightly ghetto. It was only 1 or 2 or 5. Anyway, and you know, just started and was just so consistent every week. You know, did 8K in his fast start, and then the very next day was like, crap, I didn't hit 10K, but I'm just gonna go out tomorrow on my 11th day and sell $3,000. Oh, no big deal, haha. And then right after that, just stayed and consistently sold $1,000 each and every week. Was on vacation, went to Corpus Christi with his girlfriend, and still sold, you know, 4K that week. It just amazing things that were done. We also had fun team meetings, and just the relationships we built at those time periods. Just, it was such great bonding experience. And afterwards, being able to hang out with each person and to get to know everything about little people, like about their lives. Getting to know just a little aspect of their lives. Like, that was something just to look forward to. We also had fun competition. So we like to win things in my office because I'm kind of competitive, slightly, a lot. And yeah, and so we, you know, challenged each and every day, like that we were working to different competitions. We were challenging people to do bigger things in themselves. Our 10K program, it was kind of a cool big deal to be a 10K fast starter in our office. Ashley knows that. she was pretty cool. And just making sure that we were becoming the best versions of ourselves by working hard, by doing the right results, and just seeing the rewards in the end was just amazing. We focused a lot on growth, something I'm kind of a personal growth junkie, and I think that growth in every aspect of your life is so important, and so that's what we focused on this summer. I reached out to Mike Lanzetta, and I had Mike drive almost an hour and a half away to come and talk at our team meetings. I was reaching out and, you know, making sure that I was giving the best growth to my people. They were growing personally, professionally, physically. We got up one morning at like 4 a.m. and I told everyone, meet at the office at 4 a.m. We're gonna go on a run. Just random and stuff like that. Emotional growth. I remember there were times when one of our representatives was bawling her eyes out, crying because she was not hitting her goals. It was not the, just not where she wanted to be. And I remember sitting there and consoling her and telling her how much of a great person she is, and being able to watch her, you know, go from that emotional state to the very next week going out and selling $3,000. It was so exciting. Spiritual growth, financial growth. Those were kind of our aspects of summer. This branch made me a better person. At the end of the day, it wasn't about CPO. It wasn't about being the #1 person. It wasn't about the silver cup. At the end of the day, it was being able to look at the different people and say, hey, like, you're so awesome and you grew so much this summer. And I'm so excited to watch you guys go out this summer and grow even more, to be even better versions of yourself and try to beat me, because I want you guys to beat me. That was what the summer was all about. And so in terms of action steps, commit to watching one Vector Connect talk a week. One thing I used to do is before I could go out and drink some happy, I had to watch a Vector Connect talk, and I had to take notes on it before I actually could go out. I planned. I remember sitting my entire spring break and I was looking for an office. I remember not even having an office in May, and I had to have somebody go get it for me. But anyway, I was sitting there in spring break planning every little detail. I knew when I was taking a shower, when I was using the restroom, when I was eating, like everything was planned out. because I was going to be very direct with my time. Have a topic of growth each week. Are you focused on growing on asking questions? Are you focused on growing yourself personally, professionally, physically, spiritually, emotionally? Find an area, grow on it, read a book, search the internet, learn something. Have a topic each and every day that you're meditating on, that you're growing on. Get a lot of startup, because if you're like me, you didn't think about that, and then you only went out with $3,000, and that was your entire rent, and you had no money starting off in your first, week. And yeah, get startup, save. It's kind of important, a lot. And then just don't worry about the pointless stuff. One of my favorite quotes is plastered on my wall is, each morning we are born again. What we do today is what matters most. So like Taylor Swift says, shake it off. The song, let it go. Make sure that things are not bringing you down. Just having that positive energy around you. It's going to be so important this summer. Because when, your receptionist comes in and tries to sue you for, her payment or something, and it's your second week open and you don't know what to do, and you're just like, all right, guys, let's run an interview. You have to just let it go sometimes. I have my Buddha board that I use almost every single day, and when I have something on my mind that's, frustrating me, I just put it on the board, and then it evaporates. And once it evaporates, I can't talk about it or think about it anymore. Zen. Namaste. And so just focusing on having that 5-minute rule in management as well. Because guys, we're going after the greatest of all times. We are goats. My office this summer, we are going to be the Woodlands goats. Because we're going to kick some ass. And, and I want to make sure that, the people, we are going to become the greatest version of ourselves. We are the goats, and not just for my office, but guys, we could use this for all district managers. This division, we have the best division manager of all time here in our organization now. We have the best district managers going out who are staying as well. And we have an opportunity to win Silver Cup, not only at the branch level, not only at the district level, but the division level, something that this division hasn't done. How exciting is that? We're in such an exciting state right now. We are the greatest of all time. These people, the people in this room. You are the greatest of all time. So you goat this. And the brick walls are there for a reason. The brick walls are not there to keep us out. The brick walls are to show us how badly we really want something. How badly do you want to be the best this summer? The greatest of all time. It starts today. It starts tomorrow. It starts for this Push for Jam program. It starts preparing for this office. It starts in May. It starts here, so you can go anywhere. So that's what I
Wow, awesome. Well, I want to share with you guys our last, she went through a lot of really great stuff there. We had a staff meeting that I flew in for after we left Olean. And the district manager team and I talked about, why people succeed, why managers succeed at a high level, why they don't succeed, like managers that have failed in their offices. And really, you can look at failure different things. I mean, there's lessons in everything. I don't think you ever fail. You either choose to grow from it or you don't. The only time you fail is if you don't learn the lessons and when something didn't go the way you wanted it to. But we were talking about, we made a list of all the reasons why people succeed. And two of the biggest ones of why people do well or don't do well, two of the biggest ones are, one, they are sound in the fundamentals and they know their stuff. And then two, with finances. Those were two of the biggest ones. There's obviously other factors as well, but those being two of the biggest factors. You can go ahead and set up one, right? But this is something that when I think about, where we're at, and Caitlin gave some great nuggets in terms of really setting yourselves up so that you're able to take advantage of this summer, right now is one, are we sound in the fundamentals? Let's take this all out. Where are you at if you evaluate different parts of the business? And by the way, if you don't know anything, I'll tell you right now, it's okay. I came to this meeting, I hadn't done one thing for management training at all. and branch that summer and did $145,000 that summer in my branch. I was one of the top performers. We still hold the branch record for that territory 12 years later. And I wasn't training all fall. So even if, I say that to you guys so that you can sort of even if you haven't done anything to this point, you can make a decision now to say, okay, it's time to turn this thing on. Let's go and learn everything. It's not that difficult. Everything's cookie cuttered. It's kind of like the demo. You have a manual, you follow it. Now, there are things to learn to really make sure your foundations are sound, but we have it all. Like, there's videos for everything, and it's taking time. Like she said, can you dedicate one video a week, and that's it, And for those of you who really want to take it up a notch, maybe it's 2 videos a week. But just for yourself, say, okay, you know what, 3 days a week, I'll spend 30 minutes or an hour being able to learn about, X, Y, and Z. But just getting together, putting together a plan, and that's why I started doing the coaching calls. And there have been a couple of you guys on there, others haven't been on there, and I started doing the coaching calls, and we've gone through some PDI series. We're going to have different things on those calls. So that's an hour a week that you can be learning something, getting better at something. And I think it's really valuable because you can ask questions and you can give feedback versus just listening to an audio, which you'll take whatever's given. But with these coaching calls, the whole point is, hey, let's talk on a topic, but then can you give feedback or of things that have helped you or questions, maybe something you were uncertain about. So it allows you to be coached, to be helped, to improve your skill sets, and anything that you're not sure about, you're able to get clarity on when you're on those calls live. I know some of you guys haven't been able to be on the calls live, and so then at least take the information that others got from it or whatever I was teaching or coaching. But really, we have these set up to help you guys continue getting better. So the ones we've recorded, we have those on our Facebook group, so you can go back to those. And then, of course, Vector Connect has just so much stuff for you guys. So I asked Eric to help us on the financial aspect of things, someone who really does a spectacular job with managing his money, with finances, knowing where things are going, and really evaluating numbers. And something that I feel we're really lacking among many managers in our company. We just go, 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 and never take a look at those things. And we are business owners. And so I asked him if he would take time to just kind of walk us through different resources that I don't even know if you guys have, but just to give us some financial tips and go through resources that we do have to help us be aware, to help us not just, to get a great experience, but also make sure that we're creating the right habits with finances, even when it's a little money, because then when you're making a lot of money and you apply those same principles, you're able to really see that money grow at a big level. So our veteran district manager now for the Cypress area. If we can give Mr. Eric a round of applause. To lead us on.
Yay! Thank you, Kathy. I appreciate the introduction. So how's everybody doing? Good. Good. Good to see some of your faces I haven't seen in a while. So I'm excited to be here. So we're going to talk a little bit about some finances. So have any of you heard of the Aesop's fable, the ant and the grasshopper? Raise your hands if you know of this. Okay, so we're gonna review this together. Okay, and I need a volunteer actually to read this for us. So who would like to? Please go ahead. So just start from the top, and I'm gonna scroll where you can.
Cool. In a field one summer's day, a grasshopper was hopping about, chirping and singing to its heart's content. An ant passed by, bearing along with great toil an ear of corn he was taking to the nest. "Why not come and chat with me?" said the grasshopper, "instead of toiling and moiling in that way?" "I'm hoping to lay up food for the winter," said the ant, "and recommend you do the same." "Why bother about winter?" said the grasshopper. We have got plenty of food at present." But the ant went on its way and continued its toil. When the winter came, the grasshopper found itself dying of hunger, while it saw the ants disturbing every day corn and grain from the stores they had collected in the summer. Then the grasshopper knew it is best to prepare for the days of necessity.
You've probably heard this at some point growing up, and you're like, "Oh, I remember that now." I remember when I was a lot younger, there was a cartoon, and this was on TV one day. I saw it, and it's such a great way for us to start this conversation about money. So this is you right now. This is where you're at in your travels, right? Very soon you're going to be running your own business. Very soon you're probably going to have cash flow, money going into your account and coming out of your account at levels you've never experienced before. Matt can tell you about this. It's big and it's small, and there's lots of different variations. And through all of this, as you're running your office, one of the big things that we've learned that Kathy shared with you, one of the biggest struggles that we find that's a challenge for new managers is making sure that they've put themselves in a position where they have enough cash to run their business, right? So in your business, there's savings, there's skills, and there's sales. So we're going to talk a little bit about the money side of things. So what I'd like to cover first for all of you is I want to talk about some of the tools you have on Vector Connect already. You might not even know about these. So here's the first one to talk about. Whenever you log into your account, under your account tab, you're going to have this financial tab, okay, right here. And there's all kinds of buttons on Vector Connect. I don't know if you've gotten on Vector Connect, it just kind of clicked around. There's all kinds of stuff we don't really even talk about normally that are resources and tools for you here. So this is the financial calculator. So the first thing I want to do is we're gonna play a little game. We're gonna figure out how much money we can save from now until the time you retire, and then how much money you have left when before you die. Okay. So here's what I want to do. I'm going to put in some really conservative numbers here, and what you guys are going to be watching is you're going to be watching these two boxes right here. Okay. So let's assume someone's 21 years old. And let's say they want to retire by the time they're 60. Does that sound reasonable? Okay. And then let's say that they've retired, and then they're gonna live the rest of their retirement years out. Okay. So let's say you've got really good health and you make it to 90. So you want to make sure you don't run out of money is the idea here. Okay. So monthly investment amount. Let's say you put yourself in a position with this incredible opportunity here where you can save $1,000 a month. $1,000. What would that do if at 21 years old, I put myself in a position where I could save $1,000 a month, and all I was getting was a measly 4% interest? 4%. What do you think I'll have left at when I retire? Any guesses?
$1 million.
Half a mil?
Yeah.
$1 million? $2 million? $1,123,947. So now, not only that, okay, so this is what you have when you're 60. Then you're done working, right? So then you're going to be drawing off of your retirement savings from 60 to 90. So that's 30 years. Because you've done such a great job, you don't have to work another day of your life, and you have $5,300 a month that you can pull out of your account for the rest of your life and never run out. How awesome is that? Okay, do any of you get allowances?
Not since we lived with Vector.
No, what are you talking about? I still get an allowance. You don't get an allowance? I started getting an allowance when I was 22 years old. At 22 years old, after working as a manager, I took several tens of thousands of dollars and purchased a condo. And I was a college student at LSU and a district manager at the time. And what happened was I lived in that house in Baton Rouge until we moved here to Cypress. Now, the great thing is because of the finances that I had put in place, I didn't have to sell my house.
Oh, you're right. Yeah.
So when I bought the house when I was 22, I was also very particular about where I bought it, and I knew I wanted to put it near LSU because I could rent it out to any college students for the rest of my life. So when we moved here, we rented it out. I have somebody paying me right now $1,300 a month to live in that house. So the first of the month, I get my allowance every month. Okay, so we're going to talk about why this is important for you because I did that at age 22. You have a few years of hard work that you can put into this and have something that will give back to you for the rest of your life. Does that make sense? Okay, so this is your financial calculator. There's something else that's kind of cool over here on the other side. We have a push coming up, do we not?
Yes.
Yeah, okay, what's your goal for the push?
10K.
So you want to do 10K. So let's put in 10,000 up here. Now, how many days is your year in Baker push?
17.
16, 17? I know it's two weeks plus, so 2 weeks plus 3 days. So we have, what is that, 17 days? Okay, so 17 days for our push. Now, what's your average order? Well, let's be like real cheap. Let's say $250. Okay. And your closing rate, let's say your average, and you close 66% of the time. Now, when you get on the phone, if you talk to 10 people, how many of those people can you book a demo with?
Right now?
3 or 4?
Yeah.
So let's say you like really suck and get 1 out of 10. 10%. Okay. Now, man, oh man, what's this going to do? Wow, you need to sell $588 a day Your average number of sales per day only has to be 3. You only have to have 4 demos per day. If you make 36 calls a day, you're there. Now, this kind of makes me scared because I do this for reps all day long. So me showing you how to do this, it kind of takes me out of the loop. But you can do this on your own. You can sit down and figure all of this out, and it's right here on the financial calculator. Raise your hands if you knew about this before I went through this for you. 3 or 4 of you. Awesome. Okay, so you can use this. This is on your Vector Connect, and this is something you can use for any of these. Okay. Okay. Any questions on this? Awesome. Okay, so let's continue. Now, what I want to talk about, see this financial tab over here? And I want to do this in a certain way because anytime you start talking about finances, people start to glaze over and they're like, oh, do I really need to listen to all of this? Well, you want $1 million? So check this out. Let's go over this investment program. People with money, what they do is they invest their money to make a return on that money. So a lot of times people will invest that money in the stock market and they'll get what's called a mutual fund. And there's a certain percentage that you have to pay to use that. Well, because the people who own our company have lots of money, you have some cool benefits I want to tell you about. So I want you to go to this tab and I want you to click FSL FSN whenever you have a chance to log into your account. You have the opportunity to set up an investment account, an individual retirement account, a Roth individual retirement account, a self-employed pension plan, or any type of investment account you would like to for free with these people, okay? Now what this means, you can invest money without any fees on the front of your investment. That's called no load. And Tony Robbins' new book, he goes on to explain that a difference of simply 1% in your fees can add an extra $175,000 to $275,000 in your retirement. So by using this instead of doing another type of account to invest, you'll save a lot more money. Okay. Now, and again, this is on your investments tab here. Okay. All right. So we've talked a little bit about how to calculate things. We've talked about one of these programs you have. The next thing I want to do is I want to talk about your money. Okay. Let's talk about tracking expenses. One of the things that I really enjoyed growing up was making sure that I work with my money a certain way. I want you to write this down. Money makes a wonderful servant, but a horrible master. Money makes a wonderful servant, but a horrible master. So when you look at your money, you want to be the one in control. Can anybody tell me how we make sure we control our money?
Track where it's going, where it's coming from.
We track it. We measure it.
You know how to use a checkbook.
Checkbooks are good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Using a checkbook is good. So my wife is awesome. She's hot. She makes a lot of money. And she's really good with people. Bless her heart, she hates numbers. She hates math. And she doesn't do her taxes very well. She doesn't track her finances very well. And she's really good at making it, and she's just as good at spending. And so for doing her taxes, something we started doing a few years ago that's been just like light and day difference for her that I'm going to share with you right now. And if you do this one thing every month, you'll be able to take care of the majority of your expenses and finances, okay? So here's what I want you to do. I want you to go to the store, and I want you to get a box of 1-gallon Ziploc bags, okay? Box of 1-gallon Ziploc bags. And in your office or your car, or what I told my wife was her purse, because we all know most of you have purses like Mary Poppins. You can just jump in. So put your Ziploc bag in your purse or in your car. And then every single time you get any type of receipt or bill or anything that you spend your money on, don't worry about it, just put it in the bag. And at the end of the month, take your bag and put it in a box. And all you have to do is every month get a new bag, write the month on it, that helps, put your receipts in it, and put it in the box. At the end of the year, you have 12 bags with 12 months of expenses, and each bag has all of your money that you've spent over the course of the month. You want a wake-up call? Take that bag out and see how much you spent on Taco Bell last month. You want a wake-up call? Take that bag out and see how much you paid in ATM fees to withdraw cash for the bar that you went to 6 times last month. Okay? These are really powerful things you can do. Now, the first time you do this and you see that last month you spent $1,763 on Whataburger, you're probably going to have the power next month to go, you know what? I don't need that honey butter chicken biscuit. You'll be benefiting your finances and your health. So that's probably my biggest tip from this message, is making sure that you are you're keeping track of what you're actually spending. Okay, so that was one of my big tips for you. Okay, so let's look at the next thing and the final thing I want to talk to you guys about with your finances. Okay, so does anybody know, just off the top of their head, what their monthly expenses are on any given month? You don't have to say the number. It's just, do you know it?
Yeah, I know.
And you know it. And you know it, maybe. Okay. So let me show you a really easy way to do this. Most of you use debit cards or credit cards for all of your transactions and very little cash. So what we'll be able to do is find a pretty exact number by doing things this way. You're going to go to your online banking. You don't have to do it now, but you're going to go to your online banking and you're going to pull up last month. And I want you to go line by line through that. And you're going to put all of your expenses into categories. I'm going to give you my email, my phone number. You can follow up with me if you need help with this. But after you do that, you'll have a pretty good baseline on how much you spend each month. Okay? Now, that's step one. Once you establish and know how much you spend, the next thing we have to do is we have to figure out how much you want to save. Okay? So let's say, you know, I'm NBR and I've got $500, $600, $700 in monthly expenses. Well, let's also assume, since NBR is running an office, let's say he's got several $1,000s saved and he wants to get to, let's say, 10 grand or so. And I'm just making up numbers here. I have no idea what Matt's goals are. So let's say Matt wants to get to, you know, let's say 7 or 8 grand, and he's got 2 or 3 grand saved. So he's 5 grand between now and May. Well, what he can do is he can go into this calculator. After he knows his expenses, he can add his expenses to what he wants to save each month. And get that number, he'll be able to use this to figure out exactly how much he needs to sell every week to not only hit his expenses, but to save his money, right? So the next time you do phone time, where are you going to be? Are you going to be a grasshopper? Because every time we make calls, what can you say? I don't have to make calls, right? I'll just do it. I'll make like 3 or 4 calls and I'll do the rest. Right? Well, I'd like grasshopper. What happened to him? Ants probably ate him. Who knows? So my point here is that you're preparing. And the whole idea here is that you want to be in a position as a manager where you have more than you need. And by doing things this way, what you'll be able to do is you'll be able to save for your future. You'll be able to save for your office. And on top of that, you'll have extra. Maybe you'll get to buy a house at a young age. Maybe you'll get to establish an investment account for your family. Maybe you'll never have to worry about anything ever again because you have $1 million saved by the time you retire. Who knows? So any questions on any of this? Does this make sense? Okay. So if you take one thing from my message, what should you do? You need to take your expenses in the Ziploc
bags.
And every month, put your expenses, all your receipts, into that Ziploc bag so you can track them on a monthly level. Okay, that's the big. If you do that, here's what's going to happen. You're going to track your expenses, and then you're going to have this aha moment. You're like, oh man, I'm spending way too much, and just that alone is going to help you save more money. Okay, what's that?
Think it's Starbucks.
Yeah, I know, right? Starbucks.
Great thing about manager, you can tell people to bring you Starbucks. And you do. And you never spend money on something. Amen.
Final point for you. There is a program we have where you, as a sales rep, and I believe it's FSL or higher, which is, and Kathy, I'm going to have to ask for your assistance here. I believe it's FSL or higher, where you can set up on a monthly basis to have a certain percentage of your paycheck automatically withheld. You never see it, you never touch it, it never goes into your bank account, and you can kind of compartmentalize your savings and keep it away from where you can touch it. Again, I love my wife, but she really loves shoes, and she really loves purses and photography and all these great things. And when she's got a lot of money in her account, what does she think she can go do? She can go spend it, right? So one of the things we've done with her as well is we've set her up where her savings automatically pulls money out of her checking account, and that goes into investments. So that way, whenever she looks at her account, all the money we're wanting to save, we've already taken it out of the equation. So what you can do as a sales rep is every week when you get your commission statement, it's going to be 10%, 20%, 30%. I think there's even a level as high as 40%, where you can set it up with the company where they take this out of your check and they automatically put it in withholdings. Okay, and then of course you would use that to run your office. So Kathy, are there any more specifics on that program that you may be able to share? That's just up.
So I sign up for it. Yeah, once you're over 20,000 into your bonus line, you can do that. You can just make that in times. I finally got most of you guys set up with the withholdings that we had talked about. They have issues going back and forth because they have it labeled differently. So when you look in your account, it's going to be labeled as tax withholding. That's where you can get to 40% of your checks, and then they can move it into a different account whenever later. But that's where it's set up under. So if you're reading your statement, that's what it's be under. Starting this week and for the push, it'll be under tax withholding, whatever percentage you set.
Any questions on anything?
Let's make it rain.
Thank you guys.
All right, awesome. I was stepping out, seeing where the boys were at. Did you talk about 10% to self?
I didn't talk
comes it
about
out?
yes, specifics like that.
So some of the couple easy wins that you can do, and I talked to the managers about in terms of finances, and just right now they're starting to create easy habits. Can you always put 10%, pay yourself first, always 10%. You have a check for $100, $10 in the bank. You have a check for $50, $5 in the bank. You have a check for $400, $40 in the bank, 10% always, minimum. Can you set that up for yourself as just an easy discipline, all right, with whatever money comes in? You get $13, you put $1.30. Whatever it is that comes your way, anytime you receive money, you receive income, can you put 10% away? And then ideally also an additional 10% that you get to charity or to God or to whatever you believe in, something charitable. That's up to you if that's something you want to do or not. Maybe you pay yourself 20%, but 20% of all your checks should be gone. 10% into paying yourself, into your savings, 10% to something outside of yourself and developing those habits. And that's something I'm really excited about. Being very disciplined about this year. So I always give, but I'm not consistent on a weekly basis when it comes to my 10%. So I'm excited about doing that. But that's an easy win. Another thing that you can set up, this is something that helped me a lot when I was starting to save money, is setting rules for yourself. So one of my rules was anything that I spend that was out of the budget, I didn't plan on spending it. It wasn't in my monthly budget and the money I paid myself, then I had to save the same amount. So if I spent whatever it was, $100 on something, and it wasn't in the budget, I hadn't planned on spending that money, I had to put $100 away. So anytime I spend something, so it would keep me from spending money sometimes, because I'd look at a shirt and I'm like, oh, it was $40, but then it was $80, because if I spent 40, I had to put 40 away. And either I couldn't afford it or it wasn't worth it. I was like, oh, forget it. But then in times where I really, really wanted something, it forced me to save money as well. So that was a cool little discipline I developed like 12 years ago that helped me out a lot too. So can you find little wins for yourself financially to start creating the right habits young? So, and you have the financial resources there on Vector Connect, which are fantastic. So I wanted to go through that. So we're gonna do, I changed up, I didn't change what we're doing today. I'm just changing the order of things because I know we have some things happening tonight and we have a little Hanukkah action, but I really wanted to do an exercise with you guys, and we're gonna be splitting up. Right now we're gonna do a 15-minute break, and after our break, we're gonna split up into 7 different teams, all right? And they're gonna be teams of 3 people. So we're gonna split them into 7 different teams with a district manager will be, or someone experienced in each of those 7 teams. And we're going to split up into groups of 3, and we're going to have, we're going to do something called fishbowl scenarios. And I have these little scenarios here for PDI. We've been doing PDI coaching calls these past weeks. If you haven't kept up with it, well, hopefully you're going to learn something here. But we're going to go through conversations. So this here says low rep, sees husband alone, no sale. How do you handle it? How do you handle that call? So you guys will discuss amongst your team and come out with your best conversation, and you're going to share them out loud so we can hear different ways. This says low rep runs out of people to call on day 2. So whatever it is. So these are going to be different scenarios. So I will put this here. My top rep wants to quit day 1 because everyone canceled. So how are you handling these conversations? So you'll discuss it with your partners and have music playing, and then you guys will come up with your best answer. And again, we're going to share those so that we can be learning together, learning from each other when it comes to handling conversations. When you become great at handling conversations with people on PDI, it's really exciting what can happen, how you can impact and influence your people and just coach them, especially when this is all like first weekend stuff, by the way. These are all first weekend scenarios because that's what we've been talking about is we went through day 2 PDI or whatever, like the night when they're making their first phone calls and booking up. And then when they launch out into their first weekend, kicking off that weekend, we talked about the initial setup of that. And so this would be now the conversations in that weekend. So we haven't really covered this, but we're going to be talking about first weekend management. Sounds good? So break time, it is 5:20. We will start, 4:20. We will start this at 5:35. Cool? So stand up, stretch, do whatever you got to do.